So, you are a criminal defense lawyer, and this is your entire life. You defend people accused of crimes, sometimes terrible crimes, and before anyone says anything, yes, you know. You've heard it at every dinner party, every family gathering, every first date that became a last date. How can you defend someone you know is guilty? You smile. You take a sip of your drink, and you explain for the 400th time that this is not actually how it works. The law does not ask whether your client is guilty. The law asks whether the prosecution can prove it. Beyond a reasonable doubt, these are not the same question. One is about truth, the other is about evidence. Your job is the second one, always the second one. The moment you start deciding who deserves a defense, you are no longer a lawyer, you are a judge, and nobody elected you. Your uniform is a suit, not any suit, the right suit, dark navy or charcoal. Never black. Black is for funerals, and you are not here to bury anyone. The tie is conservative. The shoes are polished. Every single morning. This is not vanity. Juries decide verdicts in the first 90 seconds. Before you open your mouth, before your client says a word, the clothes are the opening argument. You read people for a living. Jurors, judges, witnesses, opposing counsel. You watch the way a witness touches their face when they answer certain questions. You watch which juror leans forward during testimony and which one looks at the ceiling. You watch the prosecutor's hands when they approach the bench. Confident hands or nervous hands tell you everything about how strong their case actually is. You are, in the courtroom, the most attentive person in the room. Always. The night before a trial, you do not sleep. Not because you are afraid, because there is always one more thing to check, one more precedent to find, one more witness statement to read, looking for the word that doesn't fit, the detail that is almost right but not quite, the timeline that works on paper but not in a real human body, moving through real space. You are looking for the crack. There is always a crack. Your job is to find it before morning. Not for the witness, for you. An overconfident cross-examination destroys more defenses than bad evidence. You never ask a question you don't already know the answer to. Never. This is not a conversation. It is a controlled demolition. You place each question like a brick, one on top of the other, building a structure the witness doesn't see coming until the last question, and by then, it is already too late to move. Here is what nobody tells you about this job. Your client will lie to you. Not always, but often enough. They will leave out the part that makes them look bad. They will remember events differently in your office than they will on the stand, and you cannot knowingly put a lie before the court. So you learn to ask questions in a very specific way. You learn to know exactly as much as you need to know and not one word more. This is not dishonesty. This is the architecture of professional survival. You will win cases you should have lost, and you will lose cases you should have won. A jury will acquit a man because one juror didn't like the prosecutor's haircut. A jury will convict on evidence that wouldn't convince a reasonable person of anything. You cannot control this. You can only control your preparation, your presentation, and your ability to stand up the next morning and do it again. The law is not always just. Your job is not to make it just. Your job is to make it fair. The verdict comes in. The room goes completely silent. Your client sits beside you and you can feel them shaking. You have been in this moment 40 times. It never gets smaller. Not guilty. And the room explodes. Your client grabs your arm. Years of their life handed back to them in 2 words. Guilty, and you sit completely still, face giving nothing, because your client is watching you for what to feel, and you will not give them collapse. You drive home alone, win or lose. You drive home alone because there is no version of this day that doesn't require silence afterward. You think about what you could have done differently. You always find something. This is not self-punishment. This is how you get better. Every case teaches you something. Every loss teaches you more than every win. You have been taught a great deal. Tomorrow there is a new client, sitting across a table in a small room, hands folded, looking at you like you are the last door between them and everything they are afraid of. And you open your notebook, and you ask, "Tell me everything, from the beginning." Leave nothing out, because this is your entire life. And somewhere in what they are about to tell you, there is a crack, and you will find it.